Our contributions in education will be our legacy in this industry.
Whether it's through live education or maybe through social media, we're always trying to make a personal connection with you, the learner.
At Sanvia, we believe our smile is our business card and our personality is our logo. And how we make people feel after you experience our education and tools is our trademark.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us, my friends, and be a part of the Sanvia community.
Good day, Mr. Villa.
Good morning, Mr. G or Kurt. How are you, buddy? You doing well?
I'm doing well. You know, yesterday we were talking, Andrew and I, on Mannequin Mondays about what a great Sunday Show Must Go On was, and both Chelsea and Chelsea and Lori did such an incredible job. How we haven't had a chance to talk with you. What did you think?
Oh gosh, I thought it was fantastic. I mean, I love Chelsea Vaughn James. Just you talk about being raw and real. That's Chelsea. And then Lori's such a great educator on both sides, the styling side and the haircutting side. It was great to have her actually cutting some hair on so our community could actually enjoy that. So we had a great day on Sunday. I mean, the education just continues to come in nonstop.
You know, I want to say about that, Sam, that Lori was in 2018, I believe, NAHA's Hair Cutter of the Year. And then the very next year, in 2019, she's NAHA's Colorist of the Year. How rare is it?
Yeah, back to back, certainly both. And you don't see that happen too often, which brings up the guy that we have today. That is incredible. I mean, you talk about award-winning, global award-winning. Let me just say that. Global award-winning. He's amazing.
Got billions of awards. But, Sam, it just dawns on me. I totally forgot something very special first.
1, 2, 3, 5.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sammy. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Sammy!
Oh man, that was special. I'm just about in tears here, Kurt. That was amazing. And to see Mateo, look at that little guy go. That was incredible.
Ringo Mateo is the same guy. Happy birthday, Sam Villa. Everybody in the chat, let's wish our man Sam a happy birthday today. It's a special day for all of us, Sam. I know you're 39 again this year. Am I correct?
Yeah, getting younger. That's right. Going backwards.
But happy birthday, Sam. Let's have a wonderful day with you, brother.
Oh, man. Thank you, Kurt. That was really special. Now I got to regather myself back together here. But yeah, that was so cool to see everybody and to see Mateo. That was pretty cool. All right, let's go back to what's happening here.
Yeah, where were we, right?
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about Show Must Go On, about actually bringing up Chrystofer Benson and getting ready to talk about Chrystofer Benson. But before we do that, guys, as you know, here at Sanvia, it's all about education. So let's make sure we focus our chat on education and keep it really focused with intent and purpose on Chrystofer Benson. And let's continue to respect everybody that comes on, whether you're on to learn or whether you're on to watch this particular person. Also, don't forget to interact in the chat. You know, you got any questions? Make sure you write in your questions, guys. You got any comments? Write your comments. If for some reason we don't get to your question, please be aware that that's just because it might not be relevant to what our guest is talking about, but we'll get to the question at some point. So please forgive us if it doesn't happen immediately. Just be patient. Kurt, we've also got some great deals, obviously, for everybody that we want to share.
Yeah, that's a good point, Sam. We should bring that to everyone's attention because yesterday's 34% off sale is now behind us, but we're returning to our monthly sales that are ongoing throughout the month of October. So make sure you get over to our website and check out everything that we have going on. You can see there's 3 big opportunities on the screen right now, lots to look at. Go to our website, have a blast, and of course, get as much education as you want in with us while you're there. But these promotions are available to you through the rest of the month.
Yes, and listen, guys, you know, we're going through things just like everybody else, so that's just part of us. The education is, we believe, is what drives sales, but we really want you to embrace our tools and hold our tools in your hand whenever you feel you're ready for that. All right, let's get on with that education, and let's just get into Chrystofer Benson here, who is our special guest today. And I meant it when I said global award winning. You know, when you think of Chrystofer Benson, you think of cut, you think of color. He's won numerous awards in color globally. You know, AIPP's done the APP or AIPPP. Sorry, Chrystofer, I get it wrong. NAHA, obviously, numerous times in color. But he's also a great hair cutter, and he's won numerous awards. Everything that he does it in terms of an overall hairdresser. But where I really come in with the respect of creativity is the respect of Chrystofer as a teacher. You know, I think he's a leader when it comes to teaching because of the way he communicates his whatever it happens to be that he's teaching. So we are really super excited to have this particular person on. He's not only a good friend, but I mean, he's just a tremendous, tremendous artist. He comes from the world of Matrix, and he also has his own tools. So this guy's incredible all the way around. So put your hands together and give me show right now. Let's show a lot of love. And Chrystofer, I know we're over a little bit, buddy, so feel free to go over the hour. But let's show some love for our incredible friend and a great, great hairdresser, Chrystofer Benson, please. Chrystofer Benson. Chrystofer.
Sammy, first off, happy birthday. How did I get picked to do the day of your birthday, my guy? Wow. Well, Sammy, you're younger every year.
Thank you, Chrystofer. Well, listen, buddy, you know what? You're on. I was not about to take the day off. I thought Chrystofer Benson's going to take the day. I'm going to be here. But listen, we're honored to have you on, buddy. And I just want to say, you know, congratulations on your journey as a hairdresser and the man that you are. The industry respects and loves you. And we're honored to have you on today, Chrystofer. Tell the community a little bit about what they're going to see today.
Totally, Sammy. So, you know, I always like to think of myself as a hairdresser that does a lot of well-rounded things. And what I mean by that is, you know, at different points in my career, I was known for specific mixed into a lead hair cutter, and everybody thought all I did was cut hair. And so for me, then what I needed to do was also with my brand, myself, and share that. And so I started really diving into color. So then everybody forgot that I cut hair. So I think sometimes the moral of the story is, you know, be what you want to be well-rounded if you want to be well-rounded. And, you know, I think this was a time when departmentalizing was huge, and I really went against the grain. I didn't want to specialize in one thing because I love both, and I loved all facets of it, all fabrics of the hair. And I think that's really how we need to think about hair is all fabrics, right? You know, and I think that we talk about texture and different ethnicities, and I think we need to think about all that. But instead of breaking it down into, you know, Caucasian hair, black hair, Latino hair, I think we just need to talk about fabric and how it can really take and do things for all of us, and we can also give that back. And so, for me, what I want to do is I want to share some cutting techniques. I'm going to talk a little bit about how I wrap color and really where I get inspiration from. And I think ultimately it's, add some value back to the people that are on your platform and let them take it back and find what it is for them. Because I think it's find your uniqueness, right? Embrace your uniqueness.
Well, that's what we love about
that's the biggest thing.
I'm sorry, Chrystofer, to jump on you, but that's what we love about you is the fact that you are unique. So that said, I'm going to cut you loose, buddy, and let you get into it because we're excited to see what you got planned for us. Have some fun, brother.
Thank you, Sammy. And happy birthday again, my friend. I'm honored to be here. And I just want to say thank you to Sam and his team. With Sam and his team, they're the utmost professionals. And I've been on the platform with them many times this year. Every time gets better. So just a bit of gratitude to Sam Villa, all the education that he's doing with him and his team, and the professionalism that he brings to our industry, and as a mentor for all of us. And I just want to say thank you. And again, happy birthday, Sam. So let's get into this. So, for me, it's really about how do we wrap all of it together? And I wanted to call this the total package. What I want to do is I want to break down a cutting technique that I work with in about 95% of what I do in my clientele, whether it's on models, whether it's my private guests, whether it's on family and friends, right? Because I think that we need to think about what works for us in all different capacities. So let me bring in my wonderful little mannequin here because we're going to work a bit on this, because what I want to do is I want to share a few different ideas. If we can put up the first slide, I don't know where I'm going to go because we're going to work from like a long idea to a medium to a short. So let's share this first one. And this is the one on the left is mine. And the rest of these are swipes that I pulled from the internet or social media yesterday, just to give you an idea that this technique works across all different facets, right? We see this happening a lot, and with a lot of movement. We want to do something that is going to support wave, support texture, but also can be blown out straight. So the technique I really like to work with is called surface planing. So let me explain. Let's go back to the full screen with the mannequin. And what I want to do is I take a little small box off the top, okay? And this little box off the top is going to support my guide for the entire rest of the haircut. Now, let's imagine if we have hair that's very, very long, and what that's going to do is if this is my shortest point with my guide, everything is going to get longer from here. So the closer we leave things together in length, whether it's long or short, is going to keep more commercial, okay? The further we separate something short to something long is going to make it very progressive. But what we want to do is we want to find a balance between those. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set a guideline. I'm going to take this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap my knuckles together. So what it does is it starts to fan it out. So I'm not doing anything tricky. I'm standing behind. Her face is here, so we have reference. So I'm standing behind. I take a little box section like a rectangle. I draw that up. I draw it out, and all I'm doing is wrapping my knuckles, if you watch, together. So that's what it looks like from top, okay? So from there, what I do is I just turn it sideways. So now I'm going to insert my scissors. And today I'm working with my Sam Villa Artistic Series. Love these. I love the ergonomics. Gives me a couple places to put my thumb, depending on what I'm doing, right? Now, I got to be honest. I called Andrew after I received these. I was a little intimidated. I was like, Andrew, I don't know if I can work with these. And he's like, Chris, just give them a crack for the week. If you don't, you don't. And you know what? I got to tell you, I love them. And I'm really, really grow into them. Here's why I say this. When I look at these, look how beautiful the offset is. Now, I want to show you what I'm used to working with and why I was a little intimidated. Okay? So that's what my scissors are, and that's what I'm used to working with. Beautiful, nonetheless. But again, let's look at the difference. Okay? So when you're first getting used to something, it takes what? It takes practice, right? And so you can't just pick something up and just go for it. It takes practice. So let's go back to this again. So I'm working with dry cut. Again, so wrap the knuckles, turn it out. Now I'm going to take the full length of the 6.5 blade all the way in, all the way in. So this is turning as the scissors are inserting. So let's take that down so you can see. And I'm taking the full length. So what I'm looking for is this soft little bit that makes it look like a soft fin, if I can get out of the way there, right? Soft little fin. So as I drop that now is going to be my guide. So everything in the box is my shortest. And what this allows me to do is work everything long from here. Now, I can stop at any length. We're going to work from long first. So let me turn here. And what I want to do is I just want to break down half the head. Okay, so let's start on the side. So I'm going to take this out vertically. And I'm taking it this way so you can see about the thickness in what I'm taking. Small, slim, hear the word I'm using, slim sections. Okay, there's my guide. So as soon as my guide comes out, there's my guide. Notice how the rest of the hair just drops off. So what I want to do is I want to slide my fingers till the guide starts to drop. So from there, notice a couple things. I'm parallel to floor, my guide's on top, and I'm going to work behind where the tension is, okay? So now let me turn her so you can see the action and what we'll do. So we're gonna open and close, open and close, open and close, open and close, all across the surface, all the length out, okay? So let's do that again. Let's pick up guide. Let's take it vertically. We're going to take it parallel. So there's the guide, top, parallel, slips the fingers. We're going to cut where the tension is, because if we're not cutting where the tension is, we're going to chase this and we're not going to be able to get into that. So guide slips the fingers, open and close, open and close. My elbow goes up so it gets out of the way. Okay. So that's the length. Now, I want to show you what this does on other looks. So let me pull this lovely in here. This is a look that was super, super popular for this year, and I really loved the winter pastels, okay? And a couple things for me. When we're thinking about movement, right? Now, I want to show you how this starts to play in short to long. So as we start to set, right, and all we've done is put a bend. So I want you to think about smooth, roll it back in. Yeah.
Hi, my friend. I just wanted you to know that we are experiencing some of the same technical difficulties that we had earlier in the morning. And I'd like to ask you if you'd have your team possibly work on the same steps that they took a few moments ago to improve the video. And at this moment, though, you're still blurry. And we're going to just, if you will, if you can just spend a couple moments while your team works on this, share some thoughts with the audience. Sam can come back in. And we thank all of you out there for your patience. Every now and then in the modern world, we experience these kinds of things. So be a little patient with us, because one of the greats of all time, Chrystofer Benson, is working on some things we can't always control. So Chrystofer, I see you've got another feed coming in. That's great. And as soon as you have that feed ready to go, I'll switch to that feed and we'll work with you on that feed. By the way, everyone, Sammy's 39th birthday today. We have been having such a good time celebrating his 39th birthday for the last 27 years. And I think one of the best things about your birthday, Sammy, I'm going to bring you in for a moment, take Chrystofer out. One of the best things about your birthday is now these birthdays you get to celebrate with Ringo Villa, which is quite the honor, I have to think. We need you off your mute, Sam.
First of all, guys, thanks so much for your patience on this. Basically, you know how high tech can be, this whole technology and everything, but we'll get Chrystofer, and I know that he can get it right. He did before we came on, so we'll get on that. But yeah, it was great I just got to say a shout out to the team, man. That was awesome. You guys had me in tears, and then seeing little Mateo on there playing those drums was incredible. Kurt, while we're here, let's talk about Wellness Wednesday, because Wellness Wednesday, for those of you that don't know, we've got the great John Mosley's going to be on with Andrew Carruthers. So don't miss that. It's going to be all about mentoring, which right now is really what's going on a lot. A lot of people are doing mentoring. Kurt, let me know when you got Chrystofer Benson back on. Okay. Okay.
You just keep doing what you're doing, and I've got an eye on Chrystofer's feed, and we'll have him in as soon as he's ready to go.
Yep. All right. So don't forget that about that on Wednesday. Check out The Lost Art of Mentorship. And once again, that's John Mosley. And he's an awesome guy in terms of that. He's got lots he's going to share with you. Also,
yeah. How about your 25th Salon Centric event? This is turning out to be.
Go there. I was just going to go there. October the 27th, 26 is a Salon Centric's Beauty Connect. Now, this is sold out from what we've been told. And basically, guys, this is going to be an event of all events. I think that this is what's interesting. I hear you. It's back, right?
Well, we do have, I'm going to remove him on one and see if we've got it in the other. Excuse us, everyone, while we work our
There we
technical.
go. Yes.
We good?
All right, Bubba, let's do our thing.
Listen, we'll make it happen. There's no question we will make it happen. All right, so here we go. So what I want to say is that, this is like beautiful, beautiful, like winter pastels. And this is really, I'm known for crazy vivid color. And so what I wanted to do is do something a little different. So I brought you all blondes today. So I want everybody to take note. Take note. Benson brought you all blondes. I got 3 of them today for you. And this is the first one I want to share with you. And why I say that is, again, I think people forget that we have to do beautiful blondes to get to beautiful vivids and stuff. So this is a beautiful pastel, winter pastel, and the cut that goes with it, right? So the idea was smooth with an iron, give it a hard bend it in where the color is, and bend it back out. I'll break the color down because I know everybody wants to know that as well. But I just want to show this in kind of the flow of how this works. And look at how beautiful that is. And look at just the way that drapes, right? So both go on both sides. But my point in this is this starts to really help to set when we want to expand with that type of cutting, right? And it still looks one way. And that's what I love about working in that dry seamless texture. So what I want to do is let's go to the second slide. I want to show you some of the inspiration of where we got this. Kirk's loading that.
There's your slide for you, Christopher.
Yeah. There we go. Perfect. So this is the first one. So here's what I want to really look at. I love the tones. I love the cool and the warm play as well. But again, we're working in blonde, so I wanted to take this a little bit lighter. So let's go to the next one. And so this is where I really drew the inspiration from, and you can see that. The one thing I did was really, instead of looking at that yellow, wanted to leave the blonde aspect in that. And when you look at what we have here, I think the end result is stunning. So let's look at the head sheet that goes along with that, as we can see the inspiration and the mannequin together there. And then let's look at the last one, and we'll talk through how easy this was. It's really, for me, strategy on thinking about color. Okay, so what we did is we worked totally in on the top. Okay, so where you see that rectangled section is the only place that we imparted tone. Okay, everything else was the beautiful blonde. And why I say that is when we open this up, you can see that it doesn't live on anything but the top section. So what we did is the pattern you see in that rectangle is what we started. So the first slice is what we started, and what we could get into that was the blue at the base, always is what we started with, left the blonde, and then the pink. And then as the next one came forward, then what we could do is we could start to add the purple and the blue, and then back. And so everything was basically come forward all the way just in this box. Now, I got to give credit where credit's due. This isn't something I normally would do. So I want to give a shout out to a few people. Ursula Goff, Christina Cheeseman, and Caitlin Ford, right? And the reason I say this is because this is stuff that I watched them do, and it was inspiring to me. And I think you got to give credit where credit's due, and you got to go, you know what? That's something I want to try. So this, crazy enough, was the first one I tried, and I got to say, between what they teach and what I have learned just about color, I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. And again, I think it takes practice, right? This is something that, if it's something that maybe is a little bit softer for you in what you do with your clientele, then do it softer. The other thing I think also is think about just working in toners. You could do the same type of thing in toners, warmer tones, cooler toners. And the idea is that instead of just applying one tone over a blonde, which is what I built my business on, was blondes and color correction, was then how do we start to take it to a different place? And so for me, that's where I really made my signature. you have to find your signature for where you're at in your area, and I think that's the key to this. So that's the long hair one. Now what I want to do is I want to go to the medium length, and let's talk a little bit about that. So if we can show that slide with some of the medium length examples. So there you go. You can see, again, this technique works great across something that's very strong as well as something that has a lot of movement to it. So let's come back and let's talk about how that starts to work. So when we think about beautiful bob shapes, you know, we want something that has strength, but we also want, for me, and this is just for me, I want something that has movement. We're seeing a lot more movement happen in the internal structure of the haircut. So what I've done is we've previously cut some of the bobs so we can start to see this. So what I'm going to do is take that same exact technique we were sharing. We're going to draw this out on this side. And what I want to do is I want to start to peel this away, open, close, and start to put that into that bob shape. Okay. Again, so what we're going to do is we're going to work that. I'm going to draw that out. Guides on top, just like what we had on the other side for the length. But now what we're going to do is I'm going to come down and we're going to take more of that hair off to strengthen the shape. Okay. Now I'm not worried about the outside silhouette right now. What I'm worried about is getting that internal movement and getting some of the weight taken off. Okay. So again, let's take that vertically. Let's draw that out. There's the guide. Behind the fingers where the tension is, and peel that off. Now, if I want to maintain length, I'm going to draw this back. If I want to take length, I'm going to take it in the place that it lives. Okay. So let's take it from the place that it lives. And you can see a bit of the undercut, so you can tell where we're going to go. So after our bob, we're going to go into something shorter and a little bit more expressive. And I got to give a shout out to my team. Like, thank you guys for jumping on and fixing my solution here today. So now let's marry these two. Okay. Now, a couple shouts out. First thing, yes, I am a Matrix Global Artistic Director. So shout out to my crew at Matrix. Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful palettes. And why I'm saying this is because all the color is, we're going to break down, is going to be all with lacquers. And also the next one you're going to see is with Color Sync, which is the stuff that I just love, love, love. So I'm saying this because how we set the palette and how we set this up is important as well. So I blow dried with my Sambia blow dryer at flat iron. But what I blow dried with was Smooth Setter, which is a beautiful product out of Total Results for Matrix. And I love it because what it does is it gives it a natural, beautiful shine and allows me to go in and cut it in its natural state. So now what I want to do is I want to hold my comb, and I'm working with my Sambia comb. I'm working with the wide tooth. And now what I want to do is I want to connect these, okay? So we want to bob this off. So comb control. But now here's the cool part is the weight has all been distributed throughout this. So now I'm going to move forward. We're going to take that off. So this is how I get some of the strong, strong lines. Notice a couple things. I also can freehand this, right? But where's my scissors? I'm not making the top layer, my longest layer, when I cut it like this. So what I want to do is I really want to make sure that I'm cutting it in its purest state to get the strongest, cleanest line. So I want that to fall really at a 1 degree to get that, or 0 degree to get that, so that it's a very strong line. And that's my brand. That's what I do. If we want to break this up, we can obviously break this up, right? We break into this to soften the line. So we have options, but the idea is that internally, notice that this still looks very one length when we comb it down, but internally, all of the movement. Look at that. All of the movement, okay? So we've done the technique on long. We've done it on medium. So let me show you the example I have for the medium. So I wanted to do something that's really a little bit more commercial. has some of a bit of the fall tones. And again, for me, is something super, super simple, right? I really like signature pieces. So this would be some of the stuff that you would see on a lot of my guests, right? And if we wanted to like refine, really clean up, I love to enhance cheekbones, okay? Love to enhance the cheekbones, but I also love to leave some of the softness. And so for me, what really works for my clientele is strength and softness, and it's the same type of thing for the color. So this is the same thing. We've taken a shorter section off the top to start the guide, and then everything, pardon me, let me get a different comb here. Everything from there is going to pie section all the way around, okay, for my length. And then after I get my movement in there, then I go in and cut my strength. And this is what it looks like without cutting something strong. Has beautiful soft movement. So let's talk about the inspiration, and then we'll show you the color in the end result with this. If we can just look at those slides. So beautiful, beautiful wood. Really, really was intrigued by the colors of this and also the movement. Again, I think you have to find inspiration from lots of different sources, and I don't think that one's right or one's wrong. I think it's how you interpret it and bring it back. So let's look at the next one. And this is, I really looked at, this is obviously the inside of a cut piece of wood, the rings, and the way the rings moved. And so what I did is I picked up that type of sectioning and also the gradient of moving from the light to the medium to the dark, if you look at that. So now let's look at the actual sectioning. And what it was just a really, really simple crescent shape, just in the front, right? 3 foils, crescent shape, works from the blonde, works out to the medium, and I'll show you those tones in just a second. But what I want to do is just explain this real quick, but then works out to the medium, and then works out on the tips to the darker, okay? And let's just pull it out so you can see that really well. Right? The medium, and then out to the darker so you can see that. And as I told you, like I'm really known for Vivids, but we've also been really pushing So Color Cold. But really, really where I live so much is Color Sync, right? And so in Color Sync, I love this because of just the evenness, the shine, the beauty of it. But some of the shapes I really love right now for fall is our BCs. And so I'm working with the 6BC, the 6BR, and that's what's mixed as the medium tone. And then I mix this 4BC and the 4BR, and I use that on the ends, and that's what gave me my deepest, darkest tone. So I like working in demis because unless I'm doing gray coverage, I don't really need permanent hair color, and it allows me to have a really beautiful integrous canvas, which I think is important. So that's the idea with the medium, and I think the end result really speaks for itself. We definitely have a disconnection, right? So what we've done is taken everything on the bob, and everything that lives below is taken all the way around for head shape. Then on top, everything is taken from our section in our rectangle shape. We point cut, fan cut, and everything from there goes pie section for our shape that sits over the top. Now, if you pull that up, notice there's not perfect lines, and it's not intended to be perfect lines. It's intended to be shape that falls into it. But when you look at that and you have that strong silhouette on the outside, it really works well together. And the other thing it does is it allows movement, right? It allows internal movement. Here's the thing I would tell you. Something I learned early is when you have hair that moves, that is a really beautiful active part. And when you can disconnect just a little bit, and I'm not talking like crazy disconnection, but what I find is when I disconnect what's happening on top where I want this to be active and move from the underneath, it doesn't want to gather together. So again, watch. See how free that moves? And it's just because I've put in a separation between what happens on top and what happens on bottom. But notice how that falls in. Look at that. I'm not touching it with the comb. Notice how that falls in. So she walks, walks, walks. This is your work. That's how you got to think about it. This is your work. That's my signature. How's that going to fall in when they're doing it, right? And I would, think let's open that up just a little bit. But I love the shape of that. When you think about that, it's a beautiful shape. We haven't touched that with the comb. We've opened up her face. I also like the idea that it's almost a reverse with a lot of the melts we've been doing, where everything's dark to light. I like the idea for fall that we're working in a little bit different idea, a little bit richer, warmer energy towards that medium, and then a little bit deeper, more woodsy browns, if you will. If you can even imagine that Mr. Benson just said browns. Yep, you heard it here first. No, I think you got to play in all tones, and I think that everything is great. It's where do you find your inspiration, and then the bigger thing is how does it translate? Is it, don't just do something for the sake of doing it. Do it because it's going to look good. It's going to present. Because for me, I think that still has beautiful contrast. I think it still is on brand for what I do, but I think it's a little bit more commercial than what the norm is of what everybody thinks that all I do, right? And I think that that's important. You have to elaborate on what your brand is and share that with people. But I love the way that turned out. And I think that's a great representation of taking a client from where they are, adding 3 foils in a crescent shape, something for fall. Here are the keywords I'm saying. So I always talk to the season. I think that's super important. Talking to the season and your area, right? What's in your area that people can identify with? Where I'm at is obviously we have a big change of season and all the woods and the tones that are going on. So that woodsy tones makes complete sense. Yeah, I think it's good. Just give me a thumbs up. Give me a yes in that chat box if you guys like that. And then we're going to move on to our next one. I'm going to have a little sip of coffee.
Hey, Chris, you know what I love to see, buddy, is you're so right. We usually see these vivids. And by the way, I love that blonde and how you had it finished. But the color and how it worked with the finish was really brilliant. But I love to see you on these blondes here. And then did we hear Chrystofer Benson say brown? Did we hear him
I don't want anybody to get too used to just one thing, right? I mean, and that's the funny thing. I think and the weird part is that's what gets published so much is like all my vivid stuff. So that's what I think gets pushed out there. And then, we push it out socially if it gets put out there. So it's a weird cycle, but no, I'm making it a point to, yes, I'm not going to lose who I am as a brand, but I'm making it a very strong point to let's elaborate on what Mr. Benson does in the industry, because I think people are forgetting a little bit.
Well, Chrystofer, I think the idea, though, is that you also said, look, guys, you could do this in tones. You don't need to do vivid. I mean, come on, guys. It's like, what creative button do you want to push? Hey, Chrystofer, we got a question out here, buddy, and I want to get real for a moment here in the salon with everything that's going on. Let's just talk for a mask there for a moment. Someone was asking earlier, not sure if you can find that question, Kurt, but somebody was asking about mask. You were talking a little bit about facial features, a little bit about this and that. How do you do that in terms of with this mask requirement? And one person was saying, I can't see them, in terms of their face shape and bone structure. And this was Jennifer. I'm going to cut you loose. If you could address that, that would be awesome.
Totally. Love that. I think the beautiful part is a little bit different in this day and age is I would have them send ahead of time pictures, right? I would have them pull hair back into a ponytail or pull the hair back into a headband so that I can see facial structure from front, from side, so that I get a really good identifying some sheets with me as we do the haircut. And to alleviate that, I think that we have to be thinking about, when I talk about the total package, I'm not just talking about the haircut. I'm not just talking about the color and surely not just the style. I'm talking about how things are from the beginning in the way we consult, the way we do things. So I love the question. I think that we need to really, go about a consultation in a very different way. A lot of this needs to be done up front. A lot of this could be done socially. A lot of this could be done by email. But I think the idea is that we're alleviating so much of the contact moments that we can up front and pictures and, from that standpoint. And so that's how we do it. The other thing it does for me is it puts it on, we put it in a file so that we have reference of where they were, where we're going, how much change, things like that. So I think that's a good way to go about it as well. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, hit me and we'll answer it. Yeah. All right. So let's go to our last one. I want to show you the inspiration, or excuse me, the examples for this. So if Kurt, you could put those up. So again, this one on the left is one that I did, and these are examples that I told you literally in the last few days because I wanted to be current of what I see happening on social and so forth. So again, I think all of the technique, this technique works across, and that's my point with this, in very different facets. We're going to go and take this now down into something that's shorter, into more pixie vibe. So let's take our lovely, again, let's grab our scissors. And so I want to go back to dropping this down just a little bit. So I'm going to take this, oh, see, now she wants to go all the way. So I want to take this a little bit shorter. So we're going to go back to what our original guide was, right? And so what that was in the long hair was that little box section on top, and it was just a little bit of a fan. So what I want to do now is I want to gather this together, okay? We're going to gather this together. So here's the difference of what I'm going to do with Pixie. With the Pixie, I want this to be a lot more serrated. Hear the word I'm using, serrated. When you think about a knife that's serrated, what does it do? It has lots of movement to it, right? But a consistent movement to it. So here's what I want to do. I want to be in a variance of right in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand behind. I'm going to open and close, open and close, open and close, open and close. So what it does is it puts short to long, short to long, short to long in my guide. Now this is going to be, if this is my shortest, everything's going to get what? Longer from here. So again, open, close, open, close. So what it's going to do is it gives me that short, punky, without being too short that it's just going to stand up, because this will absolutely lay down. Okay. But what I need this to do is I also need this to give me the texture, the movement of what I want to do with this short pixie cut. So now let's start to work this forward. So from there, I'm going to pick up. There's my guide now. My guide becomes much shorter. Let's just turn so you can see that. There's the guide here. So from there, what I want to do is I'm going to take this and start to work this. Now, if I want to maintain length around the face, I'm going to take that up and out. Okay. Again, now I'm not slide cutting. I don't want to slide cut on dry hair. What I want to do is I want to pick this up. I want to find my guide. Okay, find my guide, get my comb out of there so you can see. Find my guide, and from there, what I want to do is I want to start to open, close, and if I want to maintain short, I'm just going to take that straight up. But if I want to maintain length, I'm going to start to walk those blades up to give me some more softness right around the face. So I'm going to continue working that all the way around, but notice when we lay that down, if we were to comb that, look, it looks like it's, again, all one length and dry and seamless. So what, again, I've done is put this smooth setter from Matrix in to finish this, flat iron with Sambia's iron and blow dried before with the smooth setter. And then what I'm doing is just working through that technique. It's important. Does this work on curly hair? Absolutely, it works on curly hair. What I would do is do this on blown out curly hair and then allow them to have that for a couple days. And the thing with this that I want you to think about with curly hair is it's really about that hourglass shape, right? What are we creating here? Short collapse to the length. So it's already working in that hourglass, beautiful shape. So again, we would just continue working this up. Now, when it gets to the point that I want to start to take more length, say, that we've got the movement, but I just want to start to open it up, I can just come in and still use that same technique, but take it closer so that I'm really putting detail. Now, if I love the movement, but I want to start to open this up, then let's go into more freehand. Okay. Softer with points, stronger with blade full. See the difference? Again, softness with my points or strength with the full. Clean that corner. All right. And again, let's just start taking more of that off. So open, close, open, close. Okay. Just keep peeling that away. But what I'm not doing is I'm not slide cutting. Not slide cutting. I want to make sure that the blade does the work. Okay? Notice my thumb. Open, close, open, close, open, close. Okay? Till we have that shorter. Look at the texture. We haven't put any product in there. We've put no product. So what that tells me is when my clients go home, they're going to be able to create texture in their hair without a bunch of product and it looking stiff and it looking too heavy. Because what I want to be able to see is I want to be able to run my hands through that and know that instantly I'm going to get some movement and some texture to what's going on. And then when I go to lay that back down, look how beautiful and smooth and easy. It doesn't look like it's been chopped up. And that's the whole point of why I did this on blondes, because I know what people say is, oh, no, it only works on dark hair. No, it works great on all hair. And I did it on blonde because I think it's important that we see the technique works in all capacities and fabrics. Okay, and hear the word I'm using, fabrics. Let's get used to using that. So let's talk a little bit about the inspiration, and I want to take you to our last final look. So let's look at this curve. So this is an interesting shot, and I like to find inspiration in the craziest of places. So this is out of my living room window. What you see here in the dark are trees. That's the sky, and this is dew that's on the window. So it's a few things for me. This is right before the sun comes up, so I love the tones. I love the yellow against that peachy, and then into the indigo, kind of purpley tones, into the dark, that black. So you can see the silhouette of the trees when you look at this, but the thing normally, and years ago, I would have been like, oh no, it's got water all over it. For me, it's like looking at things a little bit different. And how do I take this and make this into something that's unique? And so when we look at this, and then what I did was take it into this type of a look. Let me get my beautiful Sanvia brush. So this is a shorter crop. Okay, it's a shorter crop. And just like what I was doing is we've left an undercut. And then what I've left is the overhang. And I'm going to show you the sectioning because what I did was just a little triangle in the back. And I did a little triangle in the front. And you can see how those tones almost become like holographic. And that was the whole idea, was something that, yes, had blonde. And this is really up my alley because of the contrast. It works from the blonde all the way out to the noir in the beautiful So Color Cult shades. So let's talk about shades. So what I worked with. In the top, we worked with macaroon, our lavender macaroon. Okay, so that was the purpley one on top, our lavender macaroon. And then we also worked with bubblegum pink. That's what you see at the base. Okay, that's what you see at the base. And then the blue is a Mermaid Tail. Let me find that. And I think it's good to see the shades, right? It's good to see them together. Pardon me. Had it right there, slipped right out of the fingers. There we are. So the Mermaid Tail. And then the end one, and this is the one that I think a lot of people get like scared of. They get scared of the black. And for me, what it does, look at the detail. That for me is what just finished that to be something different. And all I did was just a tiny bit on the ends. Your signature. It's my signature, right? So clean, strong lines, still lots of internal. And what I want to do is put some product through this and show you, because when this starts to lift up, you start to really see, just look at how the color starts to move. And the black is only on just the tips. Now, if your flavor isn't adding that dark, then don't get caught up in that. This is my brand, and that's what I would do with things I would signaturize, right? So let's just show. Let's play a little here. So those are the tones I work with. This is out of So Color Cult. Love So Color Cult for a couple reasons. You got semis, demis, you have permanents. I tend to work the most in the semis, because I change my guests often. So the reason I work in semis is I would the next time want to maybe rehue this a little bit different, and I don't have to get into decolorizing. Now, if we want to decolorize, there's definitely beautiful products we have inside of that as well. But look at the when we start to open that, look at the tones. I want to get that in light. You see, where are you? The opaly blues and the purples and the darks. Yeah. So I think it's important to be able to see different stuff. I'm just adding a little bit of texture builder in this. So instead of it being so stiff and hard in the style, it's a little bit more approachable. It's a little bit softer. And the thing for me is I don't want it to be goofy. I don't want products for my guests that are going to be goofy or my clients, my models. I want it to be approachable. But I love texture. I love movement. And I think that we should be doing that. And again, on all fabrics of hair. But yeah, just I think opening that up gives it a little bit of a signature, and that can be less. So all I did was a little bit of a triangle. Let's look at the sectioning, and I'll share that with you from what we see. Right. So you see the stronger triangle there, and that works from the blonde out to that bubblegum pink into that lavender macaroon, and then also the mermaid teal. And then what we did is just merge those together and use that only on the front triangle, where the darker is on the tips. So just a different way to signaturize and kind of put a different package together. This is what I would suggest. Find things in your area that people can identify with. Find things that when you talk about them and you go, this is what I'm inspired by, they go, you know what, I saw that the other day, or it's something they can identify with visually in their mind. I think that helps with guests. I think the other thing for me is when I'm talking tones and color, I don't open a color swatch book. Yeah, I show you guys the swatches today, so you have reference as a stylist. But for me, what I reference is tones and pictures. I like to look in magazines or inspirational pictures, is what you saw today, and draw color from that because they can identify with that. And so you can still talk tone, you can still talk hue, you can still talk color, but I think it's a different way of going about it. What's going to set you apart from what you were doing before COVID? And I think that's what we all need to ask ourselves. What is my signature? What am I known for? Why do my guests come to me? And I think that that's a really important thing to ask ourselves. And then how do we get better? How do we start adding different things? I talked earlier about trying different techniques that I was inspired in watching people on social media that I admire. And I think that you have to give credit where credit's due. I don't want to copy them, and I don't want you guys to copy anything that what I shared today. What I want you to do is take some of these techniques and find what works for you in your guests, and take and add some of this to the value of what you bring and what you give. I think that's very important. So think of it this way. What you do, what you give back, that's entirely up to you. What you walk in and the total package to me is not just in end result. It's in the minute we start communicating with our guests. How we do a consultation. How do we set them up coming into the salon? How we're taking care of them in sanitary, masks. How we're taking care of them throughout the whole process. And yes, let's get back to the hair. Let's get back to the creativity. Let's get back to socializing, right? I mean, I know we're in this lockdown right now and everything going on, but let's still connect. And I think that, things like this, being able to connect through Zambia and what we do together. And I just got to say, to see this continue in what we do in our industry is important. How we do it together is important, but it has to start individually. It can't be like, they're doing it. Start. Be the beacon and be the one to start. Because if it doesn't start with you, it doesn't start, right? It has to start with each individual, and we have to care enough to want to be our best. And that's what I'll leave you with today. Sebby, I see you there. Birthday guy. Now you got green behind you. Are we going to do funny stuff behind the green screen? What are you doing? Okay. Wait.
Microphone, Sammy Villa.
There you are. Talk to me.
Sammy, you had to turn your microphone on, sir.
There you go.
Thank you. Yeah, Christopher, I've got a rehearsal coming up, so I had to switch to this green screen.
Totally good.
Thing coming up. Hey, listen, buddy, lots of love here in the chat in regards to what you've done. But one of the most amazing things that I saw visually was how you capture this inspiration and then how you take that so almost right on tune, right on the button, and you transfer that visual right to the hair. You don't see that too often, Christopher. So a lot of people got that in regards to the inspiration, and then just these patterns that you're working with, the concept of triangles and those ideas. Do you see a lot of dry cutting out there? Are you hearing a lot of dry cutting out there?
I think honestly, Sam, I think it's all facets. I think that yes, the answer is yes, we're going to be doing dry cutting. I think that there's still precision in what we're doing with wet cutting to set some of that up for the dry cut too as well, right? So I think it's kind of that integration. I think it's about personalizing and customizing to the guest is the most important thing for your area, but don't get complacent in just doing what you've always done. Please don't get complacent in what you've always done. Ask yourself what you're doing different. Ask your clientele what they want. There's nothing wrong with communication. And the only way we're going to be able to do it different is to ask those questions. And sometimes it's not easy, man. I ask my team all the time, what could be better? That's a hard question to ask sometimes. And sometimes they really want to tell you, let me tell you about what could be better. I'm kidding. But what I mean by that, though, is honestly, you got to be vulnerable enough to look in the mirror and go, what can I do better today? And if it's one thing, that is great traction for tomorrow. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah. So well said, buddy. So well said. All right. If you could leave the viewers with one thing in regards to, we've talked about your inspiration. We've talked about it, but I really want to know if you could have your own ice cream, All right. And it's your own flavor. What would the name of that ice cream be?
Oh my God, Sam, you're so putting me on the spot.
Yeah, that's right, buddy.
Pastel Dream?
Ooh, I love it.
I mean, I have to go with my theme today, right? Because I'm looking around at my stuff and Pastel Dream, I think.
Ooh, I love it. So what do you see? Pastel Dream, tell us quickly. What do you see, bro?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's light colors. I think it's light colors for the season. I think whether you're doing toners or whether you're doing pastels, I think it's light colors for the season. But pastels aren't going away. Vivids aren't going away. Focus color. Focus on an area and give them a beautiful touch of love.
Yeah, I totally agree. That because what they call, let's call it a money piece, if you will.
Money piece, but let's call it a touch of love now.
There we go. Money piece, touch of love.
Money piece, man. Let's get on to something else.
Yeah, right. Hey, listen, if you make Pastel Dream, I would like a bucket. Yeah, I would
love you. If I make Pastel Dream, I'm sending you a bucket.
All right, listen, buddy, I'm going to let you go. But Christopher, I just want to thank you again for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your passion, your love for this industry. And some of the things that you said really, really kind of, it just lit a fire in a lot of people. So we thank you so much for that, buddy. You know we love you. If there's anything we can do for you, make sure you reach out. And please do me a favor. Give your awesome team a big hug. And thanks for their support also.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you to your team. Thank you to all the people that came and watched. And, thank you to Matrix for the beautiful tones and the stuff they set me up with. Thank you to all the amazing tools and your team for getting me such great stuff, Sammy. I love your tools. They're really beautiful. And that's coming from somebody who has a tool company. So I say that with absolute conviction and pride in what you've put together, and the tools that you have are just beautiful. And you should be very proud. And you set a precedence for the way we should do things in the industry. And I love you for that. And happy birthday, my dude. Thank you for letting me share.
Hey, buddy, do me a favor before you go. Put your mannequins on that screen so everybody can see them, just as a recap in regards to if they want to get a screenshot or anything like that. That would be great.
I only have two hands, so we'll do two.
Yeah, we'll do two. Okay. Great. There you go. All right, buddy. Thank you so much, Christopher. We love you, brother. Talk to you soon.
Love you too, Sammy. Happy birthday, my dude.
Thank you, buddy. Talk to you soon. Take care. That was awesome. Kurt, I'm going to turn it over to you, buddy, and to let you take it out and close it out. I want to thank everybody on my behalf, but I've got to move to a 12 o'clock rehearsal. I'll leave you to the man over there and get to know Kurt, because Andrew's going to be, taking care of what he needs to take care of, and that's Wellness Wednesdays. And yeah, you're still going to see Andrew. Don't worry, buddy. We got him. We got him. All right. So listen, Kurt, thank you so much. And to my team, thank you so much for that birthday surprise.
Happy birthday, Sam. You know how sincere we really mean that.
All right, brother.
By the way, everyone, that birthday greeting to Sam, you noticed what wonderful singing voices we have. Well, the truth of it is, since the inception of our company, we have chosen, for whatever reason, a tradition that we actually punish all our peers every birthday that we have with the worst out-of-tune version of a birthday song that we can come up with. So that's why you hear, and you saw in that video, the kind of wonderful voices that we really don't have. So this for that. And this is a great day for Sam Villa's 39th birthday. Chrystofer Barron, another one of our great friends, Chrystofer Benson. I want to say to you, the chats were full of one word throughout this. It seemed inspiration. And boy, do we need inspiration today. Thank you so very much for what you brought us today. Happy birthday again, Sam. And for all of us here at Sam Villa, next stop is Wellness Wednesday with